Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to be looking into something that's pretty fundamental, I think, to well-being, and that's appreciating those small things in life.
Okay.
And we're going to be going through, kind of pulling from different sources.
Yeah.
We've got some personal stories. We've got some scientific research on the impacts on mental and physical health.
Absolutely.
We're going to be looking at mindfulness.
Yeah.
And we've even got some practical techniques that we can try to implement
definitely.
in our lives. So really the mission of this deep dive is to show you that focusing on these seemingly insignificant aspects of life can actually contribute a lot to your well-being without, adding another stressful to-do to your already packed schedule.
It all begins, I think, with gratitude. I think a lot of the sources that we looked at kind of highlight that.
Yeah.
And it's really more than just like a polite thanks, It's a deep, thankful appreciation for the obvious and even the subtle gifts that we receive in our lives. Yeah. And I thought it was really interesting that the Latin root of the word gratitude, gratia, connects it to grace, graciousness, and gratefulness.
I like that.
Yeah, so it suggests a humble acknowledgement of what we've been given.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And, it is so easy to overlook those small things in your own life. And rather than focusing on what we have, we tend to kind of fixate on what's missing or what we don't have and the things that we're striving for.
Absolutely.
But the sources really emphasize the power that those little things that we often overlook had to shift your perspective and really elevate your mood. So today we're really going to look into how to unlock that for yourself.
Yeah, and the impact, I think, is remarkable when you start to do that. I mean, even if you think about like a motivational speaker's analogy with a glass of water, he's talking about how even small stresses feel overwhelming if we continue to hold on to them, but being able to appreciate those moments of relief, like the sips of ease, is really essential, I think, to help you manage that burden.
I like that. Reminds me of Graham Richards and his idea of focusing on small wins. So instead of getting overwhelmed by the pursuit of these huge objectives, he suggests finding joy and acknowledging those little things that you actually achieve each day. It really makes you think about your day-to-day life and the things that you're accomplishing and what are the small victories that maybe you're overlooking.
Yeah, and even think about the author's dad, right? He was finding so much joy in these wild raspberries that he was collecting while he was going through cancer treatment. It's just a powerful reminder that even when we're going through these massive challenges, that just mindfully engaging with something small can be really potent and bring us joy.
It makes you realize, how much we take for granted in our own lives. And actually, a lot of the sources point out that it's only when we're faced with losing something like your hearing that we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Or the simple comfort of being able to relax on the couch after really busy time or something like that.
Yeah.
And what's so compelling, I think, is that there's actually a lot of science that backs all this up.
Absolutely.
There's so many studies that have shown the link between gratitude and, a better sense of well-being. And really, when you practice gratitude in any way, big or small, it really helps you direct your attention to the positive aspects of your experience. So it's not just, a feeling.
It's not a fad.
Yeah.
There are actual changes that happen in our bodies. We know that gratitude lowers cortisol, which is our stress hormone. And there was a meta-analysis that showed gratitude can actually reduce anxiety and feelings of depression.
That's amazing.
It really is. It's like a natural antidepressant.
Yeah, I like that.
And when we express gratitude, our brains release dopamine and serotonin. These are the chemicals
that are linked to pleasure and happiness. So if we regularly practice gratitude, we can strengthen those neural pathways in our brain, which leads to, a more positive outlook long term.
It's amazing. And it goes even beyond just like mental health. It actually goes into physical health as well. And, we were just talking about how it lowers cortisol.
Right.
So that by itself could have an impact on your immune system.
Absolutely.
And there's more and more research showing that there's a link between gratitude and improved heart health.
Yeah.
Possibly because it reduces inflammation and improves how our nervous system works.
Yeah.
And, one thing that I've noticed, and I've seen this in the research as well, is that people who are grateful tend to have healthier habits overall.
Yeah.
So it seems like it just kind of has a snowball effect.
Yeah. So how do we actually cultivate this in our lives?
Yeah.
How do we do it? Like, how do we bring this into our daily lives? The sources really emphasize finding joy in the everyday moments. Like,
being present, savoring those small moments. Like a warm cup of tea or a kind word that someone offers you.
Yeah.
Or even just like noticing the beauty in your surroundings. It's really recognizing that happiness isn't just about those big milestones that we're striving for. It's also about the small things along the way.
I think that's really key. And, engaging all of your senses fully.
Yeah.
Valuing those connections that you make with people. Even finding contentment in solitude and quiet.
Absolutely.
And, really transforming those routine tasks into little rituals for yourself.
Absolutely.
So, thinking about when you're cooking maybe and taking time to appreciate the ingredients or maybe taking a gratitude walk where you're intentionally trying to notice the beauty around you.
Right.
Maybe your commute could be a time where you're, mindfully reflecting.
Right.
That's actually a great idea.
I think that this is where mindfulness comes into play. It's really about having that non-judgmental awareness of the present moment, which allows us to experience and appreciate these small things as they're happening. And it almost seems like mindfulness is like a prerequisite for gratitude because we need to be present.
That's a good point. Yeah.
To be able to notice what we have to be grateful for.
And thankfully, we've got some practical tools that we can use. And one of the sources suggested keeping a gratitude journal.
Oh, yeah.
And, they suggest that writing down 3 to 5 things that you're thankful for each day.
Right.
And really taking a moment to consider why you're grateful for them can really cultivate a more positive mindset for you.
It can.
Even help you sleep better.
Absolutely.
So, it seems like consistency is what matters most.
Yeah.
So maybe implementing this into like your bedtime routine.
Absolutely.
Would be a good way to do it.
Yeah. And, there's also these gratitude affirmations, which are like positive statements that you can repeat to yourself to reinforce this appreciation. So things like, I'm grateful for my health today, or, focusing on the small achievements that you've made, repeating these regularly.
Yeah.
Maybe when you wake up, maybe before you go to sleep, can really shift your focus to gratitude.
So ultimately, what does this mean for our listeners?
Yeah.
Embracing gratitude for the small things isn't, this abstract concept.
Right.
It's really a tangible practice that enriches your life.
Yeah.
It has a positive impact on your mind and body.
It does.
And it can really lead to a more fulfilling existence.
I agree. And it all comes back to the sustainable habit of appreciation.
That's a good point. So as a final thought for our listeners, I want you to consider just one small thing that you can take a moment to truly appreciate today.
I love that. I think it's so much simpler and more powerful than we realize.
Yeah.
Big episode. Awesome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was good.
I think that's going to do it for today's deep dive.
Yeah, let's call it a day.
Right. See ya.